What's up guys, Call of Duty Vanguard has just released in the New Zealand region, or if you're like me, the New Zealand region. So I'm going to be breaking down some of my settings going to Vanguard because it's a little bit different from previous CODs. So without further ado, let's get into it. So here we have it, an absolute banger of a soundtrack for the main menu. Thank you so much Call of Duty for something good this year. Right, so settings. I play on a 5 sensitivity, which is pretty low actually, but like I said in the intro, this is a different Call of Duty. If you remember from the beta, if you were running around with tactical sprint, you were getting shot down, you were getting shredded out there. Gee, it was ridiculous. Okay, so 5 sensitivity, play this COD slower, you will have so much more success. 5 sens is very good for some of that aim assist. We all talk about it from Warzone. Aim assist is king, and it is here too. So trust me, lower those sens and you'll have a great time. Okay, so the sensitivity is at 5. The ADS multiplayer is at a 0.9. This is going to allow that aim assist to be that little bit extra sticky. So you're actually going to track your target that little bit better. It allows the sensitivity to move freely when you need to turn on somebody or turn to the side to look for a door quickly. But it's also going to allow you to really slow that down when an enemy is in your sights, and you will not miss a bullet. The game will pretty much play for you at this point. So make sure you keep in that mind whenever you're changing sensitivities. Even if you play a little bit higher, still probably I'd recommend using a 0.9 on the ADS because it will keep that aim nice and sticky to your target. Okay, so from here on, there's a few settings that are fairly standard. We're talking your button layouts. This is whatever you prefer. I'm not going to tell you what buttons you should be using. All these vertical aims, if you play inverted, you're spawn of something weird. I don't want to know who you are. Don't talk to me. Inverted players, don't talk to me. You're strange. Play standard. Controller vibration, I play with this off. It's something that I've always had my entire life. I don't like controller vibration. I just think it's weird. You don't need it. However, weapon fire threshold, this is on by default. Make sure you turn this off. If you have it off, every gun will react the same way. If you're trying to immerse yourself in the game rather than being a bit more competitive with your gameplay, you can keep it on if you want to have some fun. Maybe keep it on for the campaign, stuff like that. But for multiplayer, I recommend you get this off because else guns are just going to feel weird and different from each other rather than each one reacting the same. So you get that same crisp gameplay when you're trying to aim down sights. Okay, so dead zones. Let's talk about dead zones for a second because everybody's controller is different. A lot of players play with stick drift, maybe because the controller's a bit worn or used, or maybe got thrown at the wall last COD. That happens, but the lower you can have the input dead zone, the better. Just keep playing around with it in a few bot matches, get it to a point where the stick isn't moving by itself. The lower the better, and then guess what? Bam. As soon as you move that stick, because it's at a low, I try and play with 5 and my sticks don't move at all. So when I move my stick the slightest bit, it's going to turn. If the higher the threshold on the minimum input of the dead zone, the more you have to move the stick for the stick to start aiming for you, which is not what you need, is not ideal, and I'd recommend picking up a new controller. I use the Scuff Instinct Pro because it's the best Xbox pad on the market. So on the graphics tab, this is where it gets a little bit spicy. For console players in multiplayer, yes, we can change our field of view, so make sure you do it so you're not playing through a letterbox. My field of view is 115, it's 5 shy of the max, I believe is 120. So it's fairly wide field of view, but I like it. I'm used to it from Warzone, and a lot of players that have been playing Warzone on PC will tell you about 110 to 120 is the ideal field of view, so you can really get that fisheye lens and see more rather than, like I said, that little letterbox. People from the side are going to catch you out. So camera movement being at 50% is actually ideal. If you have this on max, which it is by default at 100%, every little bit of movement, your whole screen's gonna be wobbling around and everything. I don't need that. We're just trying to play the game. We don't need all this realism, shaking of the screen. It's Call of Duty, okay? It's Call of Duty. I'm playing a game. I'm not here for the real life experience. World motion blur, that is off. Get it? Anything that's blur, anything that wants to show you blur, why would you ever want this? I don't want blur. I want to be able to see the enemy. Same with weapon motion. You just don't need it. Does it look cool? Maybe a little bit, like a little bit, but you do not need this. It's just going to hinder your game. Depth of field, similar. It just blurs things. We don't need this in Call of Duty. If you were trying to be semi-competitive or just play to a little bit of a higher KD, you just don't need this. Get rid of it. So that about wraps it up for the settings for you console players. So you're ready to go from launch. There are a few audio settings in there that I've left out, but that's what I'm going to leave to you guys because every setup's different. I play with my Astra 40 headset. So if you're playing on TV speakers or a surround sound, everything's going to be a little bit different. So I'll leave you to adjust those settings for yourselves. So without further ado, I'm going to leave you a little bit more first gameplay from Vanguard. I shall see you in the next one. Make sure you like, comment and subscribe on the video. I would much appreciate it if you did because there's plenty more Vanguard coming. So stick around.
It's a free-for-all. Take no prisoners. Eradicate